DeSanto Propane is 4 generations strong as a trustworthy family-owned business with unmatched customer service. Go online at DeSantoPropane.com for more info or call toll-free at 1-800-752-4574. Since 1937, the difference has been DeSanto Propane.
Hey there, welcome into Fresh Takes with Russo and Felice. Nick wasn't anticipating that intro, but I'm Paul Russo. Nick Felice with me as well. Yeah, you weren't anticipating that. I did a little call out to one of my favorite other podcasts I listen to. That's how they open. Shout out Gary Parrish on College Basketball Podcast.
It's not like the time you tried copying Chris Russo on this. But we made it. Almost a whole minute into the podcast. Power's not gone out yet, so
that's true. But that was also about 15-ish.
That's
so
true.
We'll see. Yeah.
Stay tuned.
Yeah, stay tuned indeed. NFL draft recap.
Sanders.
I want to talk about the NBA playoffs because things have gotten chippy in most of the series here. So I want to get some ideas and thoughts from you because. One of the series in question is involved the New York Knicks quite often in this. But there are a couple other smaller stuff. I know recapping the Seneca 7.
The Derbies.
The Kentucky Derby, which, whatever. It's weird. Never mind. It's whatever. It's been quiet on that front. And then, I don't know. Do we want to get into the Bill Belichick stuff? Because, I don't know. That's been weird, too. So... let's get into it. Let's do NFL draft first here. No surprise from the number 1 overall pick, Cam Ward, obviously. I guess, it's kind of funny now in hindsight, this deal between Jacksonville and Cleveland was kind of pretty much a done deal for a while now. But, order of players that kind of went there, at least top 3-wise, wasn't surprising. I think, we talked about it on here a little bit last week, just based on how things were kind of getting leaked and stuff like that. The Shedeur Sanders slide was entertaining for a different number of reasons. But I guess I'll start here though, Nick, because the Giants didn't screw up the draft pick. The Giants get Abdul Carter. They trade back in. They get Jackson Dart. Before we get to maybe that broader stuff, how does it feel as a Giants fan? You guys had a pretty good overall draft here, to say the least.
Thank you. Yeah, I did a great job as a fan.
As a GM.
Yeah, they actually had a really good draft. I thought right from the start, when Hunter went 2, we knew we probably got Carter. It was going to be flip-flop. If they went Carter, we were going to get Hunter. And you knew Cam Ward was probably going to go first. And that's how it went down. And I'm excited how we got Carter. I'm not excited how Carter wanted LT's number, but, that's another story. But, yeah, good draft. Start off with him. And then getting Jackson Dart later in the first round. Getting your boy Scattaboo later in the draft.
My guy.
And, you're the one that doesn't like Scattaboo?
I mean, I do.
Or is it Pat?
It might be Pat.
I think it's Pat who doesn't like Scattaboo. His brother Pat, if you remember the pods. But yeah, good draft. I mean, they had to. I mean, this is Shane and Daboll's. This is it. You have to go out there. They went out and got an actual quarterback this year in Russell Wilson. Is he great? No. But is he a quarterback that's actually been successful in the league? Yes.
Sure.
So they went out and did that, had a decent offseason, had a really good draft. They're built to do something this year. It does suck that we have a really tough division because, you got the Eagles, obviously, defending champs. Washington's on the rise, and that's really it. But the Giants have a tough division is what I'm trying to say. And but this has been a great start to the new season. Since we've gone into the new season, it's been a pretty positive start. There's not a lot of negatives. There's no show, and there's no hard knocks that's putting our team down. And, yeah, we're doing better than some other teams.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, one note. I don't know. Do you know how I feel about retired jerseys as a whole?
I was talking about this with Matt yesterday. We brought up the LT jersey.
I don't think many people fully know that I'm not like fully on board for the most part with retired numbers in the grand scheme of it.
I brought it up to an even like broader topic.
Yeah.
We will be long gone, but 3,000 years from now, will every team have every number retired?
So I mean, that's the thing, right? I mean, like, you've done it on here a little bit and whatever, but like, I know people kind of joke about like, will the Yankees like have like half the numbers retired? I'm like, yeah, it's kind of stupid. Like,
all the single numbers are already gone.
Yeah, if we're talking say 42 or the way that we've been pushing, on here like 21, I don't have a problem with that. That's a different deal altogether. I don't have a problem with honoring a number / player. I don't understand in a lot of cases, even no matter how great a player is, right? I don't know. I think the way a lot of players kind of treat it too about their retired number kind of weirds me out. You kind of saw Cam Ward allude to like, I'd like to wear number 1, whatever, and Warren Moon's like, yeah, let's add to the legacy of it. And I kind of like, that's the way I prefer it. Do more of an honor system type deal with a number than outright retirement. That's just me. But
it's like Carmelo's kid. I think there's a chance that he could wear number 15 next year.
Right.
But then you come from a sport that you like very much, is NASCAR, and there's not one number retired in that sport, right?
Right.
And it's a sport about numbers, really. It's a big part of the sport. And they've never retired a number in that sport, which is kind of crazy to me. That like there's not one car number that's retired. Right. So there are people that run NASCAR that don't obey, retiring numbers. I personally like retiring numbers. I think when that guy is that great at that team and he's done such a great job, I don't think anyone else should wear that number.
I mean, I don't know. It's weird because like the Bills have like that hybrid system, which I think they kind of do it better than maybe most teams. It's weird that I'm giving the Bills credit. I know we're completely off track, but like, I mean, that's why I kind of like the whole Ring of Honor type thing as opposed to retirement of numbers and stuff like that. Yeah. I don't know, just me. Let's get back on track. You mentioned Kuiper. Obviously, he's going to be the headline on this and a couple other guys, but the Shedeur Sanders slide, very beyond noteworthy, right? And look, my main thing with it, right, is like I've been on here. If you ask me in person, I've said the same thing pretty much. He obviously to be at the level he was at anyway, you have to be some kind of good. I'm not denying that this guy's a bad or a good player or anything like that. He's not a bad player. What I will say, and I think this kind of happened with the draft to some degrees here, it's just the hype isn't worth what he is, right? I
can't remember. Did you have him as one of your top quarterbacks?
Personally speaking, I don't think I did really, but like, look, we talked about last week. It's worth reiterating. This wasn't a draft that was a very quarterback needy draft in the first place, right? There wasn't a lot of teams that outright needed a quarterback. Are there teams that didn't need one? Sure. Yeah, I'm not going to sit here and act like, the Saints didn't need one necessarily, right? But they went out and they got the Tyler Show kid from Louisville and stuff like that. But like the way that even like last year's draft, right, where Washington needed a quarterback, where Denver needed a quarterback.
And look at them now.
Right. But what I'm saying though is like it wasn't the need in the depth wasn't there this year, and they weren't meeting at the same intersection. And I think that's just something that, people just didn't maybe want to buy into. I don't know. It was just one of those, I think, spots in a perfect storm situation that ended up being the case, right? Now, we know he didn't interview well. We know he obviously didn't do anything skill-wise at the combine or pro day or anything like that. I think that probably did hurt his stock at the end of the day. Like, let's not act like whatever. Do I think there was collusion the way some people think there is? No. Look, people talk to other people in the league. Like, let's not act like, hell, like even look at us right here on this podcast, for example, right? technically I'm employed by Finger Lakes 1, technically you're employed by the Finger Lakes Times, like two separate things, but it's not like we don't talk to each other and talk about stuff going on in the same world. Like, let's not be dumb about this. Same thing goes across any discipline of profession, right? Like, I mean, hell, even like coaching, like when you're coaching, you talk to the other coach about stuff. Like, if you think any of these scouts or GMs were not on the phone with each other going like, hey, did this player X do the same thing with you and stuff like that, you're crazy. Like, these guys at the end of the day are the best at what they do. They're going to sniff it out, and it just kind of is what it is. Like, you know, it at the end of the day, to me, the only person to probably blame is probably Shedeur himself in this case, right? Like, why he didn't try and distance himself a little bit from Dion, I will never know. It's just it's one of those things where it's like, at the end of the day, man, like, you're an adult. Like, you gotta figure this deal out and not blame other people.
I mean, it's also the whole raising aspect, you know. When you're raised by your father, you're gonna act a little bit like your father. Like, there's part of you that acts like your dad. There's part of me that acts like my dad.
Yeah.
And his son acts a little bit like, you know, cocky Deion Sanders.
A little bit might be
and you do feel bad a little bit with the whole prank call thing.
We'll get to that in a minute.
That was a little unnecessary, but you know, he's one of the highest NIL guys in college sport. Is he the number one?
He was the highest this past. Or second highest.
Livy was one?
Arch.
Livy,
somehow.
Livy was in the top 5.
Yeah.
But and he's driving these nice-ass cars around the campus, you know. He's showing off that he has money and how cool he is, and he thinks he's going to be this top player. And then you had, like, him and Cam Ward having a little bit of a friendship, thinking, I'm going to be...
that wasn't a friendship.
I'm going to be number one. No, I'm going to be number one. Turns out Cam Ward was number one, and, buddy, you're lucky to even be drafted in the 5th round. And now you got people thinking, when's he going to start his first game? Let's not forget, the Browns took Dylan Gabriel 2 rounds before him. I believe, 2 rounds before.
Yeah.
They drafted him before. So they look at Dylan Gabriel as the next quarterback ahead of Sanders. Sanders, it should just be lucky he's on a team. And the whole Mel Kiper thing, man. It wasn't even about Sanders, really. It was about Mel Kiper himself. Because he doesn't like to be proven wrong. And this is the most off he was ever off on a player.
Pretty much.
He had him number 2, I think, going in the draft. And he dropped all the way to the 5th round. He's never in his years had a guy drop this much. So, and it's almost like spite towards the NFL. He gave the Browns an A+. The only A+ grade, of course, he gave was the Browns.
Yeah.
And I don't know, Mel Kiper kind of lost it there a little bit, but Sanders slid, and some people, like me, not too surprised by it, but it became a big headline throughout the whole draft.
I will say this. I was surprised he made it to day 3.
Yeah.
Like, I was expecting a slide. I don't know about the day 3 slide, but...
Yeah, and then the 5th round.
Yeah. So, either way. Yeah, the prank call thing is interesting because, like, there still is, like, news coming out about prank calls happening.
It was a bunch of players, wasn't it?
There was a number of them. I know today the NFL fined the Falcons and Albright, and whose son was the one who prank called Shedeur. The interesting part to me, if Albright's kid only did the one, who kind of did the others here? Because that's the interesting part. Sounds like Tyler Warren was part of one. Abdul Carter was part of one. I know I'm missing at least one more, but I can't remember off the top of my head.
Was it the people that did the AJ Minter thing?
I don't think so. It's just kind of interesting how I don't know, maybe how it hasn't happened before, but like even like this time around, how weird it's kind of I don't know how to phrase it, like taken over. And I don't know if it's just the fact that it was caught on camera with Shedeur and it kind of took over from there. But like, I mean, Frank, but like that's what kind of me is like, would we have kind of even have known about this if it wasn't actually for the fact of that happening, like being on camera with it, like weirdly, like it paid off, I think, in a way.
I'm just impressed in 2025. The prank call is still a practical joke.
Sure, yeah.
Star 87 still a thing? Was it star 8-7?
So, well, that's the interesting part in this, right? Is like, because like I'm guessing NFL teams aren't necessarily doing the star 8, no, star 6-7.
Star 6 is one.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, to do the like doesn't show
Anonymous call or whatever.
Anonymous call. Yeah, I mean the kids out. Whoever's doing these getting these numbers from somebody.
I don't think it would be a star 6-7 because don't they have like apps now where you can like disguise your number and show it coming from a certain area?
I think they just call them.
Yeah.
They just straight up call them.
Yeah.
And they answered it thinking it was the NFL.
Yeah.
And it's funny. I mean, it's funny because it's a prank call, you know. I get it, but this is a big deal to these players.
Yeah.
This is a life-changing day for these guys. And you got some stupid kid calling them,
Right.
saying, "Hey, we're gonna draft." What were they saying? You're getting drafted?
Getting drafted. I don't know if they necessarily said a location. It was weird,
Yeah.
but
They have any audio of these calls?
I don't think so. Maybe of the Shador one, but I'm not too sure. But.
And the Shador one just gets bad because he's already having
Yeah.
he's pretty down.
He's having like the worst day ever.
Yeah, and then this happens, and it's just like, man, it's like the lows of lows for a guy that's been high his whole life.
Yeah. Sorry, excuse me. Big yawn.
It's just funny, you know.
Actually, this is kind of funny. Falcons DC apologizes for Jesus.
But
Can't escape it.
Albert's the interim Jets coach.
Yeah.
He got his moment taken away from his first career win by Woody Johnson's kid.
Yeah,
Maybe it was Woody Johnson's kid that started all this.
Yeah, I don't think so. I respect it, but no. So that's that. NBA playoffs. It's been an interesting one. We do have a couple teams already moved on. OKC swept Memphis.
Moment of silence for your Heat.
Cleveland swept Miami. Appreciate that. Indy. Maybe this is the perfect platform to jump off right here. Indy beating Milwaukee
2 years in a row.
And we have a bit of a kerfuffle happen post-game between
And it wasn't John Morant's dad.
Tyrese Halliburton's dad and Giannis. But it's been interesting because this whole playoffs have seen a lot of chippiness. I don't know if it's necessarily amplified. I think that's something we can maybe get into a little bit. But every series has seemed to have at least some sort of instance of like really like old school vibe to it in a way where these guys look like they just don't like each other. And I kind of like that in all honesty.
Like I just said, Indiana's beaten Milwaukee in the first round 2 years in a row now. And you take offense of losing to the same team 2 years in a row, especially when you're a guy like Giannis who won a championship already. And he gets this little scuffle with I almost said John Morant, with Tyrese Halliburton's father. And things got a little and the gloves are off though in any sport when a team gets eliminated. The gloves are off. You see in baseball all the time, benches clearing in the 8th inning when the team's about to get eliminated. They don't care about anything right now. They'll start scuffling if they really hated this team the whole series playing them. And these two teams do not like each other, Indiana and Milwaukee. Very underrated hate because you don't hear about these two teams as much. But yeah, and it really showed at the end of that series. Knicks Heat, you're going to mention as well. I've seen a lot of scuffles in that series. It definitely is old school. Knicks Heat. I'm thinking Knicks Heat. Feels like Knicks Heat.
Yeah.
Knicks Pistons. And definitely like you said, feels like old school NBA. Not even like that old school, like from what we grew up with.
Yeah, it's interesting because like this is part of the other backup question that's how I asked about how like is it amplified at all? And I don't know if it's necessarily like amplified or if we miss anything. I just think it's the fact that we actually have a lot of series where it happens to be like the teams don't like each other anyway in the first place kind of deal. Like Indiana, Milwaukee, even going back to before last year's playoff series had issues, right? I mean, they had the whole entire ball stealing thing after Giannis's.
Was it last year Beverly threw a ball at a fan?
Yeah, I mean, it's almost. Yeah, that was last year. Kind of crazy. Part of me thought that was 2 years ago, but yeah. It's like just an example of that. Obviously, this goes back to his Memphis days, but like Dylan Brooks is not like Steph Curry and Draymond Green at all, and that has more than trickled over into this Houston Golden State series at this point.
which has been competitive. You know,
and also unnecessarily dramatic, I would
Fred
call
Van
it.
Vliet afraid of nobody.
Yeah, sure.
I love how Draymond always goes after the small guys, but
Eh,
Fred VanVleet.
he wasn't in Monday night's game, but
Fred Van Vliet ain't scared.
no. Obviously, you mentioned New York and Detroit. That one might be like the one series where I don't necessarily know if there's exactly too many connection points outside, like, say, Tim Hardaway Jr. But even then, like, it's not like super crazy. I think part of that too might just be like, I don't know necessarily if this is like true in the sense, but like, just kind of like a really young team who might not put up with like crap that they see veterans kind of doing type deal. That's my only logic kind of behind it, maybe. But like, yeah, that series has been.
It kind of reminds you of the Cavs team 2 years ago that Bickerstaff coached against the Knicks.
Yeah, sure.
The thing about Bickerstaff is he's a good enough coach where he can revive a team and make them what they are. But obviously, Kenny Atkinson made that Cavs team even better this year, take him to the next level. So it'll be intriguing to see how Bickerstaff does going forward as the Pistons coach. Is he going to get the Cavs over that hump? He did win the playoff game last year for the Cavs against the Magic, but can he get him over that hump? We'll see if Atkinson can get him over the hump. I mean, Indiana's going to be a tough team for the Cavs in the second round.
Well, it's pretty interesting though for you that you would say that about a coach when I don't know if Tibbs is the long-term answer anymore in New York, but that's a discussion for later on down the NBA.
What does Rogers say? Relax. I'm a Tibbs guy.
But you can't sit here though as a Knicks fan and tell me you feel confident about them anymore in this playoff.
I do.
You're nuts.
Well, I am nuts. I think we figured that out after 6 years of the podcast.
I'm talking just in the,
Tibbs is the greatest Knick coach I've ever seen. That I've seen. Not really many competitions, but Derek Fisher. Take that for data. Anyway, so I'm going to defend Tibbs because I just remember when I was in college and those Knick teams were just absolutely terrible, and he's turned around that team. He's made them. They are one win away from going to the second round for the 30 in a row, and I never even dreamed of that.
They weren't terrible when you were in college.
They were terrible. 2015, 16, 17.
Oh, in that sense, sure. If you're only blocking off 2 years of time.
2014. Every year.
I mean, not every year.
We're not talking about your freshman year. I was a senior in high school that year when they made the playoffs.
All I'm saying is, on that front.
Anyway.
All I'm saying, though, is like, I don't know if they necessarily should be, like, creaming the Pistons. Okay? Like, let's...
The Pistons have had a nice season.
But the Knicks have no business playing the way that they have played this series, in my opinion. And I'm just saying there are certain coaching elements, let alone the regular season stuff aside here. Okay? I'm going to leave that off the side right now with Thibodeau. Like, the glaring one to me is, like, why is Bridges taking your last shot in Game 2, for example? When he shouldn't even have been on. Frankly, and I understand, like, it's tough the way his skill set is, but, like, the way he has been playing, he wouldn't have been on the floor if I were coaching. Just being honest. And that's just the stuff for me where I look at Tibbs, and it's like, it's not the first time he's done this. It just hasn't.
Last night's game was weird because Brunson Hart get hurt at the last couple minutes there.
Brunson's been hurt.
And they missed out. They couldn't get him in the game there, and it was an interesting loss.
I don't like phrasing it or even saying it, but like you're starting to run out of duct tape to put Jalen Brunson back together this series. I'm just being honest.
And they still haven't clinched a series at home since 1999, which is disappointing. And
I think it's coming back for Game 7.
People were saying that last year, and we went into Philly and won Game 6. They won this game last year, Philly, when they were down 3-1, and they sent it back to Philly, and we went in there and ended the series. And then the same thing happened in 2013 with the Celtics, and We were up 3-0. The Celtics won 2 in a row, but then we went to Boston for Game 6, won it there. So it's not like they can't do it. I have every confidence in the world that they can go in there because they just won 2 games in Detroit. And every game's been close this series. And I have the confidence in the world that they can go out and win Game 6. And we'll see what happens. Hopefully they come out and make a statement right away tomorrow night. And we can move on to the second round, which would be interesting because it would be the same 4 teams. If the Knicks win, it'd be the same 4 teams in the Eastern Conference semifinals this year as it was last year. Different matchups, but the same 4 teams. It'd be interesting. And there was only one difference this year in the Eastern Conference was the Pistons, and it was the Sixers last year. That's the only difference in the whole playoffs, which is kind of crazy. Come on, East, get your stuff together here.
The only other team that has clinched right now is Boston, obviously being Orlando. I guess the only series that we haven't touched on in terms of that, Timberwolves Lakers. Wolves are up 3-1.
Could be overnight.
It hasn't been a chippy series in the way the other series have been chippy, but like Anthony Edwards is doing Anthony Edwards things, as I call it now at this point. Just guy who's not afraid of the veterans in front of him. Respects them, but not afraid of them.
I think we talked about this on Sunday. I don't remember when we talked. It's just like it's a 3 versus the 6 seed, but these teams were separated by 1 game.
Yeah, I think we even said it last week, I think.
I remember
you
talking
did,
about
yeah.
It's like there's not difference here.
No.
Like this is a deadly 6 seed here.
Yeah.
It's a tough first round matchup for the Lakers.
Yeah, I mean, it took, the Lakers like 2 weeks or 3 weeks with Luka to even get out of the play-in, technically. Like, it's crazy.
And the game tonight is in LA.
Yes.
Yeah, the Lakers might win tonight, but I think the Timberwolves still get the series. And then you look, then you got to judge if the Lakers do get eliminated tonight. You got to judge what kind of season was this. It was an interesting season. Is it a successful season? I mean, they had a 3 seed. It's a nice year. Kind of disappointing.
JJ Redick on the hot seat.
I mean, the Lakers, they just go through coaches like it's nothing. The only reason I keep Redick will be there until LeBron retires because they're so close.
Well, I think he's a good enough coach anyway, but yeah.
And he's done a good job. They played some great defense in the 2 games he played against the Knicks. I'm watching it, and he's done a good job. He's not my favorite person in the world, but he's done a good job there, and because they really don't have a lot. They have LeBron, who's aging as the days go on, and Luka is Luka. But they really don't have a center. They would
disrespected Jackson Hayes.
Yeah, he's all right.
I mean, they've been playing this series. They've been doing small ball more or less.
Would have been interesting. They don't even play Connect in the playoffs here.
No,
it would have been interesting what that Mark Williams trade would have done to this team.
Yeah. I don't know if there's much changing in the grand scheme of it, but yeah.
And the West is tough. The West is. I was going to say, I don't know if there's a lot of championship threats in the West. There's the Thunder, and is that it, really? But the East has definitely the Cavs, definitely the Celtics. But there's only a few championship contenders, and but the West is just so deep.
Yeah.
Like the Nuggets-Clippers series. You just know that series is going to go 7.
Yeah.
It's nice to see the Nuggets get the win last night. Take the 3-2 lead. Clippers always choke. I mean, we're so used to it.
The buzzer beater was crazy the other night.
Yeah. So, I mean, you can never count out Jokic.
No.
As much as what's gone on with that Nuggets team this year, losing their coach.
Jokic is the coach now.
Jokic is still the best player in the league. And
best player in the world.
Oh, it'd be interesting. How do the Thunder handle if that is Denver?
Yeah, I mean, they don't have anybody to exactly match Jokic. I mean, that's known.
I think whatever happens, we're going to have 4 really good semifinal series.
Yeah, so get to look forward to that. Let's do Seneca 7 first here. I guess we'll start with the Jerry One Fantasy Runners, to be fair. In your eyes, Nick, how did it go for you? How was the run? Were the results what you hoped?
I made it to this couch, so that's a positive. Made it to my computer on Monday, so that's a positive.
That's a positive.
I wasn't in the greatest shape for this race. Seneca 7 is the best running race in the area all year long. And I ran my first run without stopping, so that was my goal. It was 2.3 miles. The other ones were all over 4, and the second one was up the Watkins Glen Hill there. So I thought I did all right. We had a pretty good team around us, and we did a good job. I'm not sure how the standings are working. It's like I don't get the numbers. They're still fixing it. Yesterday it said we were in 137th place. I looked at it today. We're in 132nd place. So we finished around 130th place. I'm not sure what's going on there, but we were like 18th place in all male teams. But if you get one female, you become a mixed team. So thought we did a pretty good job. We have the best driver in the game. His third time. Didn't realize that you did it the first time. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
In 2012. And, yeah, you did a good job getting us. It's definitely not easy. I know one for sure. I'm not never ever going to drive like a big van or a truck.
It's an underrated element, having to be, as I call, wired for 12 hours to make sure, you're obviously the 7 people you got in the car with you are safe, but also everybody else around you and stuff like that. So,
but we got it under 12 hours, just under. The Cornell team that set the record.
I was gonna say
7 hours 22 minutes, I think.
Yeah, they beat their own record that they set last year by pretty much 5 whole minutes.
And we saw them for a little bit.
Yeah.
These are lengthy kids, so they have long strides. They weigh maybe 100 pounds.
In fact, the top 3 teams were all Cornell-based cross-country runners.
Bunch of them.
So,
they were flying.
Speaking of college, shout out to the Hobart William Smith teams who, that back end, they were going through it.
Their van got caught a couple times, stuck in the mud.
Yeah.
It was a little muddy that day on Sunday.
Yeah. That was kind of rough on their end. But,
started off a little cold,
yeah.
windy, but it turned out a pretty good day.
Yeah, it was interesting because I thought the worst was definitely down in Watkins Glen by far. It definitely wasn't as bad on the second half as I thought it was going to be. I could be wrong. I wasn't out there running, obviously, but it didn't seem as bad as what we thought it probably was going to end up being.
Different exchange points this year, so that was new for you.
Since the last time, there was a few, though, that were new anyway, too. But, yeah, I mean, pretty interesting. Hopefully next year for you guys, and it's a little bit better number and go from there. But everybody made it back. Nobody had any what I call big injuries in the sense of
the dream is still to get 2 teams, even them out, and have us go head to head the whole day. That would be pretty cool.
Yeah,
that'd be pretty fun.
So,
now good time. Always enjoy it.
Yeah,
15th year that they've started it. 13th of running, I think, because they didn't do it for 2 virtual.
Yeah.
So technically 15th running.
But either way. Kentucky Derby this weekend. Kind of strange. We talked actually about this, oddly enough, on Sunday a little bit, how there's been very little talk about the Derby this year.
I still think people watching this podcast probably don't even realize it is this weekend.
Right. It's interesting. I've watched some of the bigger races in the lead up to it. And everybody kind of has talked about the same thing, how maybe this year they don't have a big exact favorite necessarily. Which I think kind of leaves the door open for different storylines that we can see throughout what will be this Triple Crown run over the next couple months.
This journalism horse is pretty good. Apparently.
Yeah, I mean, but I don't. It's one of those interesting deals where it's kind of crazy how this very little noise this year there's been surrounding the Derby.
Yeah, I've heard some fun facts telling Paul before the show. The 17 gate has never won the Kentucky Derby, so keep out for that. The number 1 gate, so Bob Baffert is back. He's off his suspension. One of his horses, Citizen Bowl, I believe is the name of the horse, is out of the 1 gate. And the 1 horse has not won the Kentucky Derby in like 40 years. So watch out for that when you're betting this weekend for the Derby. But I always say about the Kentucky Derby, I feel like that's just one thing I have to go to one day. It just looks like a lot of fun. A lot of day drinking and passing out by 7, 8 o'clock. But, wear the fancy hats, dress up. I would like to go someday.
Well, I just realized, too, maybe this is partially a discussion for actually after this before we get out of here, but, I I don't know. Maybe it's because my focus is elsewhere too for this weekend, technically.
What?
There's a movie coming out this weekend.
Oh, Thunderbolts.
Yeah.
That's right. It is this weekend.
I don't know. Even then, though, I feel like I would have heard more about it. So who knows? Anyway, so it sounds like you're kind of in on journalism then.
Yes, I think he's the favorite.
Okay.
Good horse.
I'm not necessarily saying like because it's the favorite, but you yourself kind of seem like you're in on journalism.
Yeah, I've never been a big trifecta guy or a fecta guy, double fecta. What do they call it?
Exacta.
Exacta. But
What about superfecta?
oh, that's hard. Box it.
Dollar box.
But yeah, I've heard a lot. This horse is the favorite, and I always tend to root for a horse that can potentially win the Triple Crown because that's what I'm rooting for as a fan of the sport.
I respect that.
R.I.P. Barbaro. Barbaro, you will live on forever.
I guess you will. Obviously, Big Brown.
Big Brown.
Shout out. Seabiscuit. Secretariat.
Secretariat's the GOAT. Then this is like
Big Red.
You want to talk about Wade Gretzky, how he's the GOAT in the NHL?
I knew it was coming. As soon as I said it.
There is no question Secretariat is the GOAT of horse racing.
Where does Secretariat rank on power ranking of athletes?
I mean, it's literally Gretzky, Tiger, Chestnut, Secretariat. It is those four, and that's it.
I respect it.
Chestnut, Secretariat, Gretzky, and Tiger Woods.
All right.
Those are your four greatest athletes.
I'm definitely using that as a clip. Anyway, that's pretty much all I got for the podcast today.
Thank you.
Kind of nice. Maybe we'll see Thunderbolts this weekend. I don't know, but
Thunderbolt.
it doesn't strike me as a big premiere.
I heard it did well though so far.
Well, I'm talking though, like in terms of like
Yeah.
hack theater type, to the point where I'm contemplating maybe.
The early ratings might
Maybe,
get.
what do you got going Saturday?
I got a game in the morning. I should be free in the afternoon.
There it is then. That's what I'm kind of getting at here, Nick. So,
I'll go with Thunderbolts this weekend.
So.
Maybe we'll see. We'll see.
See, that's what I'm getting at here.
Maybe we'll have a review.
Maybe
We'll have a review when we come back.
You never know. All right, who are you shouting out today?
We're doing an old double shout out.
Oh, the double.
So May is a very busy month for my friends and family.
It is.
Got a lot of birthdays in May.
Uh-oh.
At least
And it's only April 30th still.
15 of them.
Wow.
Yeah. I got 2 of them for this week. Start May off. My Uncle George's birthday is Friday, so shout out Uncle George.
Shout out.
Go Packers.
Eh,
And my friend Nate Seventh, who just had his second
Congrats.
child. It is his birthday on Sunday, so happy birthday, Nate and Uncle George. Shout out.
29th birthdays for both.
We're both, yeah. Everyone's 29 in my family.
How about it?
Friends.
So, all right. Nick, appreciate you.
Yeah, thanks. Secretariat, Joey Chestnut, Tiger Woods, Wayne Gretzky. There's your top.
There you go. And to the viewers and listeners, we appreciate you too. Like, share, subscribe, all the fun stuff. We'll be back at next Wednesday we're good. Next Wednesday we're good. I know there is a Wednesday coming up where we will probably either have to move the podcast or just cancel it. I can't remember, but
And then our summer hours are coming soon.
yeah, but that's so
After the
pretty much 2 months away.
After the playoffs.
Technically. Actually, yeah, either way. We'll keep everybody updated. Back at it again next week, everybody. Enjoy the weekend. We'll talk with everybody then.